83 to 54% humidity. A banner day for weather. It's brought to you by Four Seasons.
We're going to see the ball go out of the park today if it's hit like it's been the last few night games. It's getting to the point where this feels like August weather, and with that, the park is livelier. And also, Plesac gave up 19 home runs last year, and I know he's thrown it better this year, but the Sox have seen him a lot. He's going to have to make some adjustments to Sox hitters. We'll watch that as the game goes on. But first, Cleveland will bat as we take a look at our Insure on the Spot starting lineup. Get your free auto insurance quote in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. Switch hitters galore in the top four. Then Reyes and Santana's first appearance in the series. Luplow looking for that first hit. Taylor is 2. And Delino DeShields batting 9th. Matt Foster goes to the hill. This is his first start. He's been in 3 games. He's been awfully good. 6 strikeouts in 3 2/3. He really is an opener, not really a starting pitcher today. Ricky Renteria, Don Cooper, we'll see just how long he can go, but if he's throwing it like he's been, it's been very good. And for Roman, he throws a 4-seamer 52% of the time, the changeup 38% of the time. The changeup surprises a lot of people. A slider only 10% of the time. I think if he goes multiple innings consistently, you'll probably see the slider a bit more. Let's take a look at our UI Health defense, and this is how Ricky is going to put them out there today. With Adam, Luis, and Nomar, a different outfield look. Yohan Liuri. And Danny Mendick and Jose Abreu. Slight pause. Re-rack it. Yasmani Grandal behind the plate, and Matt Foster on the hill. We have an interrupted offense and defense. However, David Rackley's got the plate. Jeremy Rehack at first. Jerry Meals at second base, and Jordan Baker is at third. What do you say we get another win today, Stoney? If the boys play the kind of defense they played last night, I also believe that familiarity with Plesac is going to help. We'll tell you a little bit more about him when he ascends the hill. But right now, the only question for Ricky Renteria and Don Cooper is how long can they allow Foster to go in this one. Of course, that remains on how effective he's going to be and how many pitches he uses. His first pitch and his first career start. He's just 25 years old from Small Valley, Alabama. And it's in there for a strike. We're underway at Guaranteed Rate Field for Saturday afternoon baseball. Less than 10,000 people in his hometown of Valley, Alabama, northeast of Auburn. And Matt Foster in his first major league start. Fires in strike 2 on Cesar Hernandez. What he's really been able to do in the short time that we've seen him is command both sides of the strike zone. He also can throw it up, down, in, and out. You command all 4 quadrants, you're going to be pretty good if you can change speeds. Ball and 2 strikes. He went changeup on Hernandez, who last night was 1 for 4 with a first inning walk. And see Matt Foster, he got a win in relief in his major league debut. First Sox player to do that in 7 years, back to Jake Petrichka. That's pretty important, and certainly much to his delight. First win in that game, first save for Cody Hoyer. There's a foul ball from Hernandez. The Indians had this nagging chronic ability to walk as the leadoff man last night. The Indians did it in 4 of the first 5 innings last night and didn't score on any of them. This is really a unique experience for Matt Foster. That's because he's never started a professional game. Even in the minor leagues, even in low A, he didn't start. He was in the pen after a 20-round draft pick. He got strike 3, bottom of the zone on a slider, and his first strikeout in a start of his career. That's the pitch that he's going to use more of if he's going to go multiple innings, because the opposition hasn't seen it. Anybody who is scouting him will say, look, it's fastball, straight change. But this slider is right where it has to be. A good pitch, well framed by Yasmani, and 1 out, 1 strikeout. Jose Ramirez now, who came up in major spots last night and wasn't able to come through. Ramirez 0 for 4, including stranding the bases loaded in the 5th and 2 on in the 7th. He has been their big basher this year. He's the team leader in home runs for a team that's last in Major League Baseball in slugging percentage. I mean, here we are having 2-0 and 1-0 games this homestand, and the Tigers and Pirates scored 30 runs last night combined.
Tigers are playing surprisingly good baseball, and we're going to see them a lot.
A lot of Tigers.
A lot of Tigers, 7-10 against them.
It's like Brookfield Zoo. 1-2 on Ramirez. Or Lincoln Park Zoo, if you.
Yeah, and can the Lions and Bears be that far away? Actually, they're a little closer than you'd think.
How about this? Most pitches seen, the top 3 in the American League are Cleveland Indians.
That's pretty impressive.
1-2 from Foster. Center field, Luis Robert has it for out number 2. Early we get to the big story. It's presented by the fine folks at Kia. And your big story this afternoon in White Sox baseball is this: innings by relievers this season. The Sox bullpen is climbing the charts, and the bad news is Aaron Bummer went on the injured list today with a bicep strain, and so Zach Birdie comes up, and a couple other transactions as well. Drew Anderson joins the Sox.
When the starting pitchers are not getting it done, and the Sox have had their injury back into the rotation, you're going to have to lean on that bullpen quite a bit.
Well, we've seen Ricky Renteria ride a starter a couple of times longer than maybe he would have otherwise, but he knows those innings are mounting in the bullpen.
Well, you want to throw ground balls today if you can. You get it up in the air today, it's not dying at the track. It's going out.
So you're saying the era of good feelings is over?
The era of cool weather, I think, is over for a while.
I meant for you pitchers. It was the gilded age of weather.
We're always at such a disadvantage.
Oh.
We guys on the hill.
Do we have a violin in the truck?
A small one. All I need is a small one.
1-1 for Lindor from Foster, and he goes after a ball high, a changeup upstairs. 1-2.
And bear in mind, these guys don't have an extensive book on Matt Foster, so normally you would say the advantage to Foster first time through. Doesn't want to throw a changeup up there, but he got away with it.
We've seen a couple sneaky high changeups in this series so far that have missed bats.
Lucas Giolito throws one by design, by the way.
Fouled off left side. Giolito versus Bieber tomorrow night. Reminder, that game has moved from a 1:10 start time. It's now Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. And so Matt Vasgersian, A-Rod, and Buster Olney will have the call on that game. Steve and I will be watching at home along with you.
That's really a premier pitching matchup. And I'm looking forward to seeing that, even though we can't do the game.
We can. Nobody will see it. We'll be doing it from our own phones.
You know, that's really not a bad idea. Why don't you give me a call? Give me the play-by-play. I'll add the analysis. But if I'm not there, do start.
Just cancel your magazine subscriptions or what? 1-2 from Foster on Lindor. Popped up back of home and short of our booth. We haven't had a foul ball in the booth this year so far.
Not yet. If we get it, it's going to be from a right-hand hitter. It's going to be with a hard thrower on the mound. I mean, that's usually the angle.
No, he's in left.
Well, that's true also today. But, you know, you've picked a good spot. You're usually over much further where you're very accessible to foul balls. Now you're kind of hiding in the corner. COVID protocol and all.
Yeah. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Heat was not the tempo for Lindor in a 1-2-3 inning in the first for Matt Foster. First career start. Couple of punch outs on the bookend in the first. To 2. Nadal, then Mazzara. Robert drops to 6 today. Garcia, Mendick, and Engel your starting 9. Some robust numbers there.
Zach Plesac on the hill for the Indians. Not an overpowering fastball, but he's got to mix them up. His third start, 17 strikeouts in 15 innings to go with only 1 walk.
Yeah, he struck out 11 in that first time the Sox saw him. He went 8 scoreless, but he got no swings and misses on his fastball. It was all on the breaking stuff and the changeup. There's strike 3 taken on a fastball, and Plesac's back up to his old tricks.
And for Roman, this is what he'll use. The four-seamer at 36%, the changeup at 26%. He likes that. Interchangeable with the slider at 24% and the occasional curve. The stuff is good. He comes right at you. Not going to do a lot of finesse, but because he changes speeds on his breaking ball, he's pretty effective. And he's had a great start this year, but the Sox have seen a lot of him. Hopefully that bodes well in a much different lineup today.
Yeah, Eloy up to the 2 spot, and he takes a strike. So Edwin Encarnacion still not back in the lineup. You have Mazara in right moving up to the 5 spot. Robert goes down to 6. The hope is that Tim Anderson can come back over the next couple days.
You would think that would be the case. Sox certainly miss that bat, miss his leadership and enthusiasm. In his place, however, the boys have been playing well. They've won 7 of their last 10, so they're getting it done. But Tim will really add a lot to this team.
To third, Jose Ramirez on the money, 2 down.
Let's take it our UI Health. UI Health.
Louis Health.
The defense with Luplow, DeShields, and Santana in the outfield, and Ramirez, Lindor, Hernandez, and Santana in the infield. Bo Taylor's got the plate this afternoon. Zach Plesac on the hill. Sandy Alomar is managing. Terry Francona has some intestinal difficulties. They're hoping to get him back pretty quickly, but they want to make sure when they do get him back, he's entirely healthy. And it's been a battle for Tito. Wonderful manager, great guy.
The rare left-handed third baseman every once and again.
He could really hit, you know, before the legs wore out, and they did wear out. He had a lot of injuries to his knees. He was a really good hitter.
You know, we may have a major league debut in this game with Zach Birdie being called up from the Schaumburg taxi squad, and families are not allowed to be in the ballpark. Nobody's allowed to be in the ballpark as a fan, but Zach Plesac does have the advantage today of Uncle Dan being in the seats watching from cardboard cutout land.
Well, Jose's in a streak where he's been swinging at every slider down in the dirt. There is Dan Plesac. Completely different than his nephew. His nephew, a right-hander, and a starter, Dan, a premier reliever and a left-hander. He spent a lot of time in the major leagues.
Yes, he did. He is 7th overall in career pitching appearances.
No, he took the baseball. He was very good at what he did. Used as a closer a lot, a setup man a lot. And he's a good analyst. I like to listen to him. I think he is very knowledgeable.
Check swing on a breaking ball. Nephew Zach just said a word that you probably shouldn't say at dinner. Well, depending on who you're having dinner with. Wonder if Uncle Dan the cutout heard that. He's still smiling, so everything's okay. All in the heat of battle. 3-2 coming. Center field. DeShields in his tracks. He is there. And that will do it. We promise you a base runner at some point, even if it's 4th there in the 10th.
Yep. I think every idea is a capital idea.
I shudder to even ask this question, but have you ever, in the course of a game, been on the Kiss Cam?
Well, seeing as I'm usually here with you, no, thank goodness.
Well, but you've had a long, storied career. I thought maybe as a fan, somebody would have put you on the Kiss Cam at some point.
I came along well before That was fashionable.
They had the Kiss microfilm when you started. First pitch is downstairs, ball one. Carlos Santana, the batter, against Matt Foster in his first career major league start. We mentioned he grew up northeast of Auburn. He was much closer to Auburn, Alabama than Tuscaloosa, Alabama. But after a couple of seasons at Gulf Coast State College, he transferred to the University of Alabama. And he grew up a Crimson Tide fan, even though he was from much closer to Auburn. And he was asked about that a couple of years ago. And he said, once I had enough sense in my head to choose the right one, I went with Alabama. So, Big Frank, if you're listening, Bo, if you're listening, you can still like the guy. He just grew up a Crimson Tide fan. 2-0. That fades outside. It's 3 balls, no strikes to Santana, who rarely gets himself out.
The second pitch was right there, wasn't called, set up the at bat. Now he's down 3-0. 4 different times Santana has walked in excess of 100 times in a season, and 1 year it was 99. So he is terribly patient.
There's ball 4. Leadoff walk. Franmil Reyes will come up, but first we'll give you some Central Focus. Lock in on these 10 teams. That's all you're going to see this year on the White Sox schedule, barring any schedule change. We mentioned the Pirates and the Tigers. 30 runs. They played 11 innings. Each team scored in the 10th. They moved down to the 11th, and the Tigers put up 4. A Bauer outage. Trevor Bauer. Evidently, we're just promoting his Twitter account now. That's his Twitter name. 12 strikeouts for Trevor Bauer, and the Royals beat the Twins in a Kansas City special. Who's the headline? Did Hawk write the headlines?
Where will be?
I love it.
Reyes hits the ball really hard.
By the way, mentioning Hawk, we should say it's terribly disappointing that Hawk didn't have his day in the sun in Cooperstown this year. It would have been just a couple of weeks ago that the ceremony had happened, but we are rooting for the opportunity for everybody who wants to go see Hawk go into the Hall of Fame, and a deep congratulations to Hawk for winning the Ford Frick Award. And it's awful that he didn't get a chance to share it with everybody this year, but that day is coming, and it's going to be a glorious day in Cooperstown.
But I also think it's a very nice thing when he does go and make his speech. There'll be a lot of people there, because this year, had they held the ceremony, it just wouldn't have been the same. So I like the fact that they push it back, and I, along with you and everybody else, hope that baseball is back to some semblance of normal.
Keep the winning, and then have you all in the ballpark. That's the hope.
I like the fact that David Rackley is calling strikes down in the zone, because if you keep it down there, Reyes will hit a ground ball. Last year, over 50% of everything that Reyes hit was of the hard hit variety, and for a big man with a big swing, that's pretty impressive.
Second base, Danny Mendick snares it for out number 1.
Good piece of base running by Santana at first base, because it's pretty easy to get doubled off, especially when you see the second baseman moving to his right. It's probably hit so hard that he didn't have a chance to get too far off the bag, and instead of a double play, it's just 1 out.
Danny's filled in nicely at second base for Nick Madrigal, who's out with that separated shoulder. A lot of guys getting opportunities to do things that they haven't been called upon for a long period in the big leagues, and the Sox have certainly stayed afloat even with all the injuries.
It's 2 Santana offense for the Indians. There's Domingo Santana. He's modeled a few uniforms in his time. He always has been able to hit the ball out of the park.
Had that big season with the Brewers a couple of years ago. No go from, well, now, yeah, he's going to go. Throw down to second is not in time. Yasmani couldn't find the ball. He couldn't find the ears on it. And then finally, Carlos Santana said, well, I might as well take off.
Santana doesn't have the best speed, but he was observant. We'll watch it again. So this one trickles away, and unfortunately, David Rackley was giving him a screen. Brackley didn't know where the ball was either, and by the time Yasmani got to it, it cost a base.
I think we have a sunglasses issue from Yasmani Grandal. He just got rid of his shades, I believe. And they're going to go take a look at this. Grandal thought that he might have gotten Santana anyway at second base.
The question is, did he come off the bag on the slide?
Yep.
It doesn't look like they got him initially, but Mendick will keep the glove on him. Let's see if he comes up off the bag.
Well, we got a freeze. He's up over the bag.
But the one thing you can't tell is the glove on him there?
Yeah. I think it is.
I'd like to think it was.
Wow. Our photographers in the truck have landed on that freeze very quickly.
I mean, look, he goes up over the bag, and it looked to me like he might have popped off the base, and that's what they're questioning.
So you got a matching time code situation here where you can take multiple shots. Each frame is timed in the truck. So you take the same shot from the same moment from a different camera and you match them. That is allowed in the replay room. So they are doing that as we speak. They're matching the time code on the two shots. And so this is where you can see from that one moment we showed you from the side angle, this from first base is at the same time. And that's the look they're seeing in New York, which you would imagine would be conclusive enough to overturn.
If it is, they will overturn it because the glove was on him when his hand came off the bag and his thigh didn't quite get there yet. So let's hope there is clear and convincing and indisputable and wonderfully definitive evidence.
A little flowery for the legal department there with the wonderfully. That's been rejected by the attorneys, but they're taking a look, and I would think based on that yeah, the answer would be he's out. But again, they're getting different angles in New York. They have a multitude of angles from all around the ballpark. What do you think?
I think he was out, but they call him out. I mean, I thought he was out, and they called him out. And it was the time code. You know, occasionally you get caught with a time code, and this time the Sox were the beneficiaries. Is that what it's called?
It is, yeah.
He's up and over the bag right there, and the glove is still on him. Lesson for all you young infielders, especially if they have replay in your little league. Keep the glove on the slider.
And a lesson.
Occasionally they pop off the bag.
I was going to say a lesson for all you prospective base stealers in your living room. Anchor yourself to the bag and stay there. So Santana's out, and Santana remains at the plate. Sounds like a plot from Time Code, honestly. One, two. He got him, strike three. Matt Foster is through two in his first major league start. 3 strikeouts for Foster, no score. Our Toyota Junior cast starting today. We'll hear from Christiana coming up next as well, with the next batter coming up. I'd tell you who it is, but that's Christiana's job.
You never really know what's going to be your job later in life. So get an early start.
What did you think your job was going to be early in life?
History teacher.
Really?
Yeah. History teacher and coach, starting with high school, then probably college, and who knows. Got the degree in history, but didn't work out that way.
You still could do it. Sort of a welcome back Cotter situation. 2-1 is off the plate. 3-1. Zach Plesac out of Ball State. Right side and past the second baseman Hernandez, enough to get Grandal safe at first. And we check back in with Christiana Flurkey for the next batter.
Now batting number 30, Nomar Mazzaro.
Well done.
Splendid job. And if the same result of the at-bat is a base hit, she should do the whole inning.
Absolutely. Chris Withers, our producer, says we could make that happen.
I think it's a good plan until someone makes an out. 8 straight base hits, she keeps on going.
All right.
10 straight, she takes your job.
Why am I on the line first? You've had a good run. Foul ball from Mazara for strike one. Nomar back after fouling the ball off his leg the other night. Did not play yesterday in the Sox 2-0 win.
DeShields is actually playing him a couple steps in to left center. It's kind of surprising. Huge gap in right center and down the line in right if Nomar can pull it. That shows Plesac's probably going to stay away.
And
sometimes you take a look at the defense, you can get a pretty good idea about how they're trying or thinking to get you out. And assuming the pitcher can hit his spot, and Plesac has very good control, sometimes you get a little break.
I was going to say, it's kind of surprising because we've seen Nomar's pull power.
Yeah, I mean, normally when he does really get into one, it is on the pull side.
Swung through it for strike three. I guess you're firing Christiana now.
Yep, it's off to school.
It's August 8th.
Well, it's never too early to get a running start. Nice block by Taylor. This is a tough pitch to handle. Curveball down right in front of the plate, catches it off the left shoulder and keeps it in front of him. Good technique.
One out, one on. Luis Robert swings through strike one off the breaking ball from Plesac.
Dan Plesac said yesterday he was on with Dan and Danny on the score, and he said the key is repeatable motion. It's one of the things that they strive for, not only in the Indians organization, but all organizations. The easier it is to repeat your motion, the easier it is to control whatever the stuff you have. So simplicity in windup has been one of the keys. With that in mind, a lot of pitchers throwing from either the stretch or a modified delivery so they can repeat that motion over and over again. He also said that one of the things they stress is fastball command, that everything works off the fastball. The case of Plesac today, he's throwing a lot more breaking balls than we're used to seeing, but he's got to make an adjustment because the Sox just saw him. So going over the video, you know, Sox hitters have, also he has, and he wants to make an adjustment.
Struck him out. 2 down, and we take a look at StatCast powered by Google Cloud, and here is how Zach Plesac struck out 11 in the last time he saw the Sox.
He absolutely has to stay down. And plus, I mean, all those colors are so distracting that the hitters had a hard time with it. We'll watch it again. Stays down. Sox are not the most selective of teams. They're going to strike out quite a bit, but they will do you some damage in between the strikeouts.
Like that. To right field, Larry Garcia hunting the first pitch, and 2 on for the Sox in the second inning.
You saw a great example of why Plesac tries to stay down, because when he gets up at 93, it's not an overwhelming fastball. So this one is belt high and out over the plate. Leary loves the first pitch, especially first ball fastball. Keeps the inning alive, forces Plesac to throw more pitches. Base hit to center field. Grandal is going to test DeShields, who does not have an overwhelming arm.
Sox did it yesterday on a first to third situation.
He doesn't necessarily have to see a fastball here, but I would think Plesac would stay away, whether it's a fastball or anything else. Mendick looks the other way. He can put it in play. Got his fastball. It split the plate. Good pitch to hit. He fouled it off.
Two and one. Best chance so far to score, and this is strike two. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Plesac to Danny Mendick. Sox got the lead early yesterday on the first 3 batters of the game. A Jose Abreu double play ground ball. And that held up. Sox added the 1 with the Adam Engel home run late. And there you see Garcia and Grandal on against Plesac on 2 and 2. 3 balls and 2 strikes with Engel looming.
Outfield playing off to the right, just a touch.
Just foul wide of third.
Ramirez was off the line, and so no chance to get that. They don't figure that Mendick is going to pull him for the simple reason that Plesac is going to stay away mostly. Talking to Nick Capra. I think asking Nick why he's not in the coach's box. He's replying because he's a smart man.
He's in the suburbs of the coach's box.
He's in the neighborhood.
3 and 2. Popped up first base side. Santana makes the catch, and that does it. Sox leave 2. We are scoreless after 2.
He's above major league average on everything. One of the reasons why he has sawed through the Indians lineup the first couple times around, and that's pretty good spin rate on the changeup. Not exactly major league average, but he'll take it because it's keeping the hitters off balance. And so Drew Anderson just recalled coming into this one. Brief major league career at this point. Probably more walks than he would like in 21 innings. He was modeling a Philly uniform at the time. And he inherits a 0-0 game on a beautiful day for baseball in Chicago.
Just a spectacular day, and one of those days we really truly wish you could be here to share this with us, as the Sox are 8-6 right now. They're in second place in the AL Central behind Minnesota, who's 10-4. Sox will have Detroit on the schedule next week for 3, and then the Cardinals scheduled for next weekend. But again, there's a lot to shake out with the St. Louis Cardinals before that series happens here at Guaranteed Rate Field.
Everybody is hoping that the Cardinals have a few positive, not positive, but positive results to the test, negative tests, so that they can resume and start to play baseball, because the last thing you really need for a team that is a contending team, a team that thinks they're a playoff team, and they probably are, you don't want to see these double headers backing up as far as the eye can see.
Well, the Cardinals right now would have to play something like 55 games in 49 days to get to 60.
I think baseball wisely went to 7 innings in the doubleheaders, anticipating that there would be some rain issues, certainly, and look, issues with positive tests, but 7 innings seems to be the key, so you don't completely decimate your bullpen.
Three balls and a strike for Luplow from the Reno native Drew Anderson, 26-year-old out of Galena High School in Reno, making his 10th appearance in Major League Baseball. And Luplow, you already saw his batting average on the screen, so I'm not going to reiterate that because I'll get blamed if he gets a hit.
And justifiably so.
See, you are part of the problem.
Oh, a big part of it.
Okay. I'm glad you're understanding of that. 3-2. Another foul ball, right-hand side.
Just congrats on the first professional start of Matt Foster.
Yeah.
2 innings, a walk, 3 strikeouts. Did exactly what you need for an opener. You start off getting people out. You give way to the bullpen early. And he did exactly what Don Cooper and Ricky Renteria wanted him to do.
Strike 3. Anderson comes in and gets his first strikeout of his first appearance.
Even Jason could not jinx Anderson as he strikes out Luplow and keeps him absolutely
I'm not going to let you finish
year.
the sentence. I'm going to cut you off. If you're going to do that, I will talk over you all day long. One down for Bo Taylor. You're a well-oiled machine up here.
Oh, yeah.
Taylor takes downstairs on the breaking ball from Anderson. So is it Chris Kampka's fault for putting up that graphic? Chris Withers called for the graphic. Kampka built it.
Nothing is ever Chris Kampka's fault.
I agree.
Yes.
Way behind there, 94 upstairs.
Chris, as you do know, is a maven of minutia, and because of that, the M&M tag, he knows everything. If you have to know something, Chris will know it.
You can follow him at C Kampka on Twitter, by the way. He's always got some good tweets for you. 2-1 for Taylor. After we saw Sandy Leon yesterday behind the plate. And now 3 balls and a strike. Close pitch, didn't get it.
You can hang around as a backup catcher, especially if you swing the bat from the left side. That gives balance to whatever team you happen to be with, and Taylor is still around.
Three and 2 from Anderson. Called strike 3. Taylor thought he had worked a walk. Instead, he is out.
It is today a pitcher's plate. David Rackley likes that outside corner. We do also. Taylor, not so much. But it does serve notice. I mean, you can't just sit on the bench. You have to observe the game. Not watch the game, but observe the game. And if the hitters are doing that, they'll realize they have to protect on anything close.
It's a good point. There's a difference between watching the game and actually observing the game, being locked in on every pitch.
And I truly believe that if you're going to be on the bench or in this case in the stands because of COVID protocol, try to learn something every inning, because this game has something to teach you every inning. And the guys that pay attention, the pitchers, as they're sitting there watching what a right-hand pitcher is doing to this particular hitter. If you're a right-hand pitcher, you want to see how he reacts to it. For the hitters, you want to see how this pitcher is going to work that right-hand hitter if you're a right-hand hitter. So if you are watching, if you are observing the game, you'll pick something up that might help you down the road, because after all, this is your livelihood.
And maybe not even in this series or even this year against a certain pitcher.
And look, I know normally it's a long season. 162 games is a long season, but the more you observe, the more you can pick up, the better player you will be. Because every guy can't be a superstar. There's a lot of people that need every advantage that they can get.
Well, and there's always somebody in AAA waiting to put up a big month and take that spot in the major leagues. This year obviously different with taxi squads, but it's the same idea as that's up and out. Three and two. High fly ball right center field. And Luis Robert patrolling there. He makes the catch. The Sox tandem of Foster and Anderson has faced the minimum through three. Drew Anderson's 2020 debut has gone swimmingly so far. All game, then he did this. Because we need souvenirs, you can't go get your own souvenirs, but Al Gildemeister, a 39-year season ticket holder. He's not 39 years old. He would have had season tickets for his entire life. 39-year season ticket holder from Schaumburg gets the home run ball, and congratulations to Al Gildemeister. I feel like I'm hosting a game show. And the parting gift for Al.
Way to go, Al.
Tonight on Sale of the Century.
Meantime, Engel is ahead 2-0. You just as soon hit early in the count with Plesac because he really has a wipeout slider. He missed with it the first pitch, making this an offensive at bat for Adam. Ooh, well, again, look, that's the strike zone to David Rackley. So although that was off the plate, that is his strike zone. You're not going to hit this anyway. You're ahead of the pitcher. Don't swing at a pitcher's pitch.
That was actually outside the whole way. That never had the plate. 2-2. On Adam Engel, who, as we said in the open, he's actually on pace for a career high in home runs, even with this shortened season. There's his launch angle from our esteemed graphics operator / maven of minutia, Chris Kamka, who has already changed his Twitter bio because of your new nickname that you gave him.
He's pretty good.
He's fantastic.
No doubt about it.
Our whole crew is fantastic. They are wonderful people who want to put on great television every day. Chris Withers, Andrew Blaustein, Dave Turner when he's here as Adam gets hit. Or did that catch the bat?
I think it hit the bat. I think it hit the bat.
Yep.
Otherwise, he would be dancing around and holding a body part. So we'll watch it again. Riding the fastball inside. Unfortunately, it hits the knob of the bat, which, if you have one that close, is probably the best result.
Almost got the fingers there. Instead, popped off the bat. 2-2. Foul third base side.
There's the difference with a good slider and one that just spins. Adam hit that ball awfully hard because that slider was the middle of the plate. Plesac hasn't thrown too many of those today. There's the breaky.
Adam got a piece to shortstop. Lindor's got to hurry. Engel is safe at first base. Infield single for Adam to lead off the third.
The old saying of speed never slumps. He didn't hit that ball hard, but because he pulled Lindor to his right, he couldn't get enough on the throw. Good play by Lindor. Tries the one-hop approach. Works better on the artificial surface than it does on the grass. And Engel, with as good a speed from the right side maybe as anybody in this game, starts it off with a base hit, and he really is busting it down the line.
Go to first. He's back. Near collision. 15 hits out of the 9 spot in the order to lead the league. That is something you will take any day. And Adam Engel, to your point, he was 8th in the league last year in sprint speed measured by StatCast, behind guys like Trey Turner, Byron Buxton, as Yoan pops it foul ground third base side. And Ramirez for out number 1. Hey, your 2020 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, the league leader in mortgages. Here's the pitch. Visit rate.com today. What do you think, sir? Second time through for Plesac here. He's given up 3 hits first time through. Doesn't look like the same guys we saw last time in some ways.
Well, look, second time around in a very short period of time, hitters are going to make an adjustment. They probably will get some better swings. What I've noticed today is he's been hanging the occasional slider. He didn't do much of that in Cleveland. Eloy didn't have a good result with the last at bat. However, it looked like he was on some pitches. I'm thinking he's going to hit the ball pretty well this time. They know that Engel is one of the fastest guys on this team, so Plesac, who's got a good quick move to first base, is making sure that he doesn't take any liberties at first.
There he goes. Eloy skies it right center field. Pretty well hit. Back to the track again. And playable for Santana. Throw to first is not in time. One more time. Some warning track power in this ballpark.
Watch the leadoff. What I would rather see is a slide step leadoff instead of a crossover leadoff, because you have some pitchers that pay attention. Now, he got back easily, but this is for base runners. If you do a crossover on your leadoff, you have some pitchers who will be watching you. As soon as you start to cross over, they'll go back the other way. You can't get back near as quickly. And Eloy did hit the ball hard.
We were going to check and see if Adam might have gone past and then not touched on the way back.
Never hurts to make an appeal.
Inside ball 1. Here's a look at what happened with Engel going into second and then coming back.
He's going, and he clearly retouches.
What made them think that that was worth their 3 seconds?
Well, figures you never know what decision you get from the appellate court. Very close at first base, and Engel is back. It's deception for a left-hand pitcher on a pickoff move. That's all deception. For a right-hander, it's all speed. And Plesac is quick to first base.
One ball, one strike on Abreu. Only hits in the ball game are 3 singles for the Sox. We figured this would be a low-scoring series, especially Giolito and Bieber tomorrow night. And we've seen 2-0 through 11.5 innings. Left side through, base hit. 2 on for the Sox, 2 out for Yasmani Grandal, who scorched a ball last time.
Jose finally got one he can handle, takes it through the left side. This looks like another slider that stays in the middle of the plate. So the fourth single as the Sox try to break through. Zach Plesac led the major leagues last year with 6 pickoffs. So the move was really good to first base, really quick, and you got Hernandez hanging around the bag at second, so you got to be careful there.
Terry Francona last year at one point on one of Plesac's starts, he said, I'm not going to tell you much about pitching mechanics while you're up here, but I have a feeling you're going to pick somebody off today. And then he went and did it.
Terry's a pretty good skipper. But he did something with Plesac that earned him the respect of a young starting pitcher. He had gone deep into the ball game. He was close to his pitch limit. He was into the 9th inning, and Terry Francona said to him, how do you feel? He said, I want to finish up the game. Looked at Carl Willis, shook his head, and he said, go get him. Now, for a young pitcher in just his first year last year, that's not the usual set of circumstances, but it showed, number one, Terry has always been a player's manager, one of the reasons why he's been so popular, but also you earn from a young pitcher the kind of respect that will serve you well down the road, because Zach Plesac looks like he's going to be around a while. You don't know who's going to come and who's going to go, but he appears to be a mainstay in the rotation. As long as he stays around, he will tell younger pitchers that story and say, hey, we got a guy that will ask us to tell him the truth, and it'll work out well.
And you don't, as a manager, have to do it every time.
Nope.
You just have to do it once and let him know. 2-1 hovers inside, 3 balls and a strike.
It's the exact pitch that he's been waiting for, what most hitters wait for. Outfield deep enough all the way around, so on a base hit, they'll have 0 chance to get Engel at the plate.
Three and 2. How about that? Since 2018, we said they farm pitchers here, and a lot of them look alike in terms of what they do and how they go about their business. Plesac another in that line, and the 3-2 strikes him out. Blew it by him. 4th strikeout for Plesac. Still nothing. Of the 4th inning is ball 1. Gotta love these videos. I mean, James and Junior, that's a fantastic video. Thank you for sharing your Sox fandom with us. And Jose got you a hit.
I love the fact that it takes some creativity. People are putting some thought into it, and it allows them to be part of the broadcast, which is what you want anyway.
Two and 0. It's upstairs. 3 balls, no strikes on Hernandez. The Indians have had only 1 base runner in the game so far. That was on a Santana walk. Then he was caught stealing in the 2nd. So well pitched to this point by Foster and Anderson. That's ball 4.
Follow our Sox insider Adam Hogue at NBCSportsChicago.com, presented by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Get to enjoy knowing the Vuk as much as you do the jingle at JeffVuk.com, because Nationwide is on your side. Well, not exactly the Everly brothers or any other brother.
We might be the 4 Everly brothers.
There you go.
Seems to last a while. Hey, good job. The 2-part harmony is very nice.
Which part did I have?
The better one. Here's Ramirez, 1 on, nobody out. First pitch, there's a strike from Anderson.
Ramirez really has tried to pull just about everything from the left side, which is how we've seen him mostly. And with the shift on, a ground ball will turn into 2. But the trick is getting him to hit the ball on the ground. Anderson's throwing a lot of pitches up in the zone.
Good strike there, outside half, 0-2. Shift is on. popped up. Oh, Ramirez absolutely demolished his bat into the ground, and one gone. Well, two gone, including the bat.
I think the reason was that he thought it was a hittable changeup. Looked like a pretty good changeup, so that bat will depart. Yeah, he's out in front of that, and he can't believe it. But
listen in.
It's not the bat's fault.
That contact will get you like 105 exit velocity. One down for Lindor. There's a strike called.
Hitters beware. You're going to have to go out and get some pitches. Not necessarily in the first pitch, because you're not going to want to swing at something off the plate. But if you get the 2 strikes, you better go get something you wouldn't normally swing at with the plate the way it is. Hernandez has pretty good speed. Whereas Terry Francona didn't run all that much, Sandy Alomar, who's managing in his place, probably a little bit more aggressive.
We've seen that in a very short time, just the one game and a little bit today, but we wish the best certainly to Terry Francona, as they've had to rearrange their coaching staff with a couple of opt-outs as well, including the hitting coach yesterday.
Brad Mills, who was the right-hand man of Terry Francona, they were roommates in college. He has opted out, as has Ty Van Berkeley. So they're down a manager and a few coaches, but everybody is trying to make do with what they have. It's an extraordinary season in so many respects. Baseball, the Players Association, everybody involved is trying to put a full season together, with the full season being 60 games and the World Series. I mean, that's everyone's goal. We're here. We went through the second half of spring training, a summer training camp. And now that everybody's in full swing, it's taking a concerted effort to keep the game playing every day.
And we've seen just even the past couple of games, there has been even more compliance in terms of mask wearing in the dugouts, the social distancing in terms of the auxiliary dugouts as well, in more use. And so that's certainly a good sign. I think we're going to need a new baseball bat again. Already planning a special occasion at the ballpark? We have you covered. Let's talk 2021 group tickets with a variety of spaces perfect for you and your group. Call or text Sox Ticks to 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com today. Lindor has a new baseball bat. And he uses this one to flare a ball into left center field that will put runners at first and maybe second and third. Lindor going for second, and the ball is waiting for him, but he's safe.
Mendick just missed the tag because he should have been out on that play. It was a good slide by Lindor, but when the ball beats you, you got to get that out, and that could turn out to be a very big play in this one. We'll watch it again. It's a high changeup, and high changeups don't work well. This one slapped into left center field, and Lindor thinking about 2 bases. But watch it again. I think that's a situation for Danny Mendick where you don't want to extend the arm as much as you want to go out there and get him. Force the tag and make sure he can't do exactly what he did, which is slide around you with a swim move.
So it's a double for Lindor on 2 strikes. And now Santana. So you have Franmil Reyes next, who could be a double play candidate for you. Santana is so selective and such a talented hitter.
But look, in a game with no score, I think you have to approach him like if he wants to get himself out of the strike zone, you invite him to do that.
Ball one pops in the air and gets a run home. It's a wild pitch scoring Hernandez. Lindor to third.
We'll watch it again and watch Yasmani. He tries to backhand the ball. That's never a great technique with a man at third base, and this one goes awry. So in calling a breaking ball, you pretty much know you got to go out there and smother everything. That one got away. Lindor to third. It's 1-0 Indians.
Infield in for Santana. Three and one from Drew Anderson, whose first career strikeout victim was Mike Trout. He had to fly cross country to take on the Angels and struck out Mike Trout after throwing a ball over his head accidentally earlier in the day.
That's something to remember. Both things.
If you're Mike. 3-1. It's inside and again off Grandal's glove. 2 runs are in, and that one may go as a pass ball.
That is a pass ball. He was set up away. Granted, this ball is inside and gets by him. So 2 runs scored without the benefit of hitting the baseball, and that's never a real good thing.
Swing and a miss for strike one on Reyes, who lined out to second in the second. We told you the Indians offense had broken out a couple of days ago with 13 against Cincinnati, but they have had 2 or fewer for most of this season. I mean, 15 games, they've had 2 or fewer for 2/3 of that, basically. Two balls, 2 strikes. That ball shot to center field. Robert back at the track. It is up and it is out of here on a 2-run home run for Franmil Reyes, and it's 4-0 Cleveland here in the 4th.
Reyes with his second home run. He's now driven in 8. Indians got him for something like this. They know that he's not going to field very well, but he can really hit him. We'll watch it again. A Ford home run replay. It's a fastball. It's belt high, tailor-made, and gone. Wind, no wind, ballpark, any direction. A no-doubter.
Ball one on Domingo Santana. So first time through, the Indians did not have a hit. Now here in the fourth inning, 2 walks have hurt, but a double and a home run. And this is over the middle infield, and Santana's got himself a base hit with 1 out.
Bullpen phone is starting to ring. It usually means a trip to the mound by Don Cooper. We'll have to see. Danny goes up and can't get the handle.
Cooper's going to put a second mask on. Realized that his first one was already on.
If you haven't subscribed to the White Sox podcast, what are you waiting for? It's entertaining, informative, and it's made for fans like you. Subscribe for free today.
Quick meeting for Coop. And there is Ian Hamilton getting loose in the Sox bullpen. Brady Lael taken off the roster after the game yesterday. Anderson called up from Schaumburg, and Zach Birdie the same, ready to make his major league debut whenever called upon. First pitch, a strike on Luplow. We are scheduled to hear from the Birdie family in this game. Bob and Debbie are taking in the ball game.
Pretty exciting, and this is shaping up as a game that he will make an appearance.
1 ball, 1 strike on Luplow. That ball ended up actually in Cleveland's auxiliary dugout. It hit off what sounded like the facade of the 300 level, bounced off one of the rows about 10 rows up, and then rolled off of the canopy, down off the canopy into the first row of the Cleveland auxiliary dugout.
Well, I think today is shaping up as a day we probably get one up here.
You think so?
Yeah. And if we do, don't know for sure. That's not a prediction, just a thought. If we do, we should absolutely sign it and give it to whatever fan tweets us with the best reason why they want it.
That ball's drilled to left field. Engel is back at the track, and this is up and out of here. First hit of the year for Jordan Luplow. And the Indians have made it 6-0.
That actually is not that surprising, in that he's hit way more home runs against the Sox than any other team. I think that's the 6th home run he's hit against the Sox, and this is another no-doubter. A Ford home run replay, fastball down the middle pretty much, and out. Line drive rocket in the pen.
So Anderson's going to come out of the game. The Sox will go further into the bullpen. Hamilton was loosening up. And the call will be to Ian Hamilton. 6-0 Indians when we come back.
And Ian Hamilton comes into this looking up at a 6-run deficit, trying to hold him right there, let the offense come back. We told you it was going to be a very lively day today, unlike the previous few days here, because the temperature is up, humidity is up, and the ballpark is playing to its reputation, which is a fine place to hit. Tough day for Anderson. Yeah, very, very disappointing for him getting an opportunity, and unfortunately got behind on a few guys, walked a couple of guys.
First inning was really good. 2 strikeouts and a flyout to center, but this 4th inning proved to be treacherous, and so Ian Hamilton will face Bo Taylor with a first pitch swing and miss. 95 upstairs. Oh, 0-2 on Taylor. The Sox came into today in 2nd place in the AL Central. This game to hang on to 2nd place with Cleveland a half game back. Detroit also hanging around there, 2.5 back of 1st place Minnesota. Tigers have Ivan Nova on the mound against Derek Holland. It is an all old friend ball game in Pittsburgh.
Derek Holland continues to throw from his left side, which means he continues to find some jobs. And he's a good guy, so we root for him.
I like both those guys, actually. Yeah. Ivan Nova, Derek Holland.
Ivan Nova continues to throw ground balls. He's actually a pretty decent pitcher still.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Hamilton cuts down Taylor, and 2 gone here in the 4th.
Good slider, good result.
Yankees are up early 4-0 on Tampa Bay. Garrett Cole on the mound. That should be enough, you would imagine.
I would think so. Although he's not striking out as many guys this year for whatever reason. Not that I wouldn't mind having him, but yeah, the strikeouts are down somewhat. Can't spot him too many runs, however, or you might as well start the next game.
Hamilton's breaking stuff's pretty good today.
I mean, when we first saw him, he really had outstanding stuff, and there's another guy that battled his way back through a lot of adversity. It's the kind of guy you root for, and his slider is exploding today.
You know, there's enough ridiculous stuff with Tommy John surgeries and shoulder problems, but Ian Hamilton had a car accident and a foul ball hit him in the face. And you talk about horrible luck, because that was very close.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes your career gets interrupted on things you absolutely have no control of, and when that happens, it really tests what kind of a competitor and a human being you are. You keep coming back, you keep working as hard as you can, you hope to get a break, and you hope when you come back the stuff is still where it was when you left.
Danny at second, can't cleanly pick it up, so DeShields is on, and Hernandez will bat for the 2nd time in the inning.
Good effort by Danny Mendick, ranging up the middle. But even if he comes up with this, with the speed of DeShields, odds are overwhelming that he's not going to be able to make the play, so base hit either way.
People are tweeting at us to tell us why they deserve the foul ball that comes into the booth that hasn't yet come into the booth.
Well, it's foreshadowing.
Twitter lobbyists.
I like the one young man that said he's graduating from ASU. That was Cam Robinson. That's in December. It'd be a great gift.
We don't have a ball, though, is the problem.
Well, that's true. But that's just a mere technicality.
You would think over 7 decades on the planet you would know what technicality means.
That's all it's been, is 7. 2020 seems like 7 decades.
Oh my gosh. 1-0. A rocket to first, right at Jose, and that will do it. Hernandez could only pinwheel the bat as the Sox trail 6-0. Let's take a look at the ball that went his way over at first. He planted with his bare hand with that right hand and then picked it up, and it looks like Jose's okay. He was feeling it for a moment, but now he's all right and ready to go, it seems. And the Sox trail big for the first time in this series. And the first pitch here is called a strike on Nomar Mazara. The Sox just had a long streak against Cleveland get interrupted. It was 25 consecutive innings against the Cleveland Indians specifically, as Mazara ships that out to left field. And Luplow, it was the longest consecutive scoreless inning streak against any opponent since the Sox did so against the Mariners in 27 innings 10 years ago.
It's pretty impressive, and unfortunately when it did come to an end, it came to an end in a big way.
They score in bunches, this Cleveland group. 13 runs 2 days ago, none yesterday, 6 in 1 inning today. Somebody else has suggested we give the foul ball to our friend Roger Bennett of Men in Blazers, big soccer fan who was up in the booth last year.
Well, that certainly is a suggestion.
Roger's a wordsmith. We love Roger Bennett.
Yes.
Huge Sox fan. And one of the nicest guys you will ever meet from a distance. Well, you can't meet him close up now. He's a wonderful guy no matter where you see him. Into left field. Luis Robert plops one down onto the warning track, and he's got a 1-out double.
We'll take another look at it. There is a slider, and this one catches too much of the plate. Luis is the type of hitter where if you do make a mistake out over the plate, he's not going to miss it too often. You're still going to see young player at bats. You're still going to see pitches taken that he probably should be swinging at and pitches swung at that he probably should be taking. But all in all, the body of work has been really impressive for a guy that's been in the major leagues for 2 weeks.
Strike one on Leury Garcia. There's a lot of time left in this game here.
Plenty of at-bats on a very lively day at the ballpark. So you get a couple, you take your chances if we can get into that bullpen. Good breaking ball by Plesac. He's a very impressive pitcher. I think he was taken something like the 12th round, which is, you know, if you find gold between 10 and 20 in the draft, your scouts are getting it done.
Second base, Cesar Hernandez. Here's your Sox math answer for today. We really were going for speed, and Chris Hoerner just barely got under the wire to take this one. A lot of correct answers. 0 multiplied by anything is 0. So the Sox gave up no runs last night. That's all you had to know. Adam Engel hit the 1 home run, but that was a red herring, as they say. GMC Sox math goes to Chris Hoerner, who has his second video to make. And the question is, how do you do better than your first video? And we'll find out what the answer is coming up on Monday, because we are off tomorrow night. NBC Sports Chicago will not have the series finale. It'll be over on ESPN on Sunday Night Baseball. It's been a while since the Sox were on Sunday Night Baseball.
We'll get used to it, because as this team gets better, they're going to get much more national exposure.
Strike 2 on Danny Mendick. Yeah, you'd imagine so. I mean, we've already seen it, including this game tomorrow. But when people were talking about surprise teams possibly in 2020, a lot of national folks top of the list. I had a KBO game on a couple of weeks ago, and Tim Kurkjian was on, the great national writer for ESPN, and he got asked who was one of the surprise teams he was looking for, and the first team off his mouth was the White Sox.
And justifiably so. There's a lot of really good stories here. And by the way, one of the good stories that you couldn't possibly have thought about too much as we headed into this season is Matt Foster. He's the guy that started this ball game really as the opener. Pitched a couple of innings, but he's been a revelation out of the bullpen. And you talk about good scouting. 20th round in June 2016. So you got a very serviceable arm who keeps going right at hitters with his stuff. A lot of confidence in it, and he comes more into play.
Danny beating feet down the line, but he can't get there in time. And the inning is over. One left on for the Sox in the fourth. Joined on the phone by our friends, the Birdies. Bob and Debbie Birdie along with us from Downers Grove. They are joining us by phone. What's this day like for you two? You've done it once with Nick already, and now Zach's sitting in a bullpen here at Guaranteed Rate Field.
Well, it's just as exciting as it was for Nick. You can't compare the two experiences. You know, two different boys. You know, they're two different people. You know, they have different ways of approaching things, but we're just as happy for Zach, thrilled for him, excited, nervous, all those things all wrapped up into one.
Well, it's really a shame you can't be at the ballpark. I mean, I know that's something that if you have a son who plays baseball and is fortunate enough to play in the major leagues, parents look forward to that, but not to be.
But you're enjoying it home, right? You're sitting at home, you're waiting. What's this day been like for you when you got the news?
Well, Zach called around. We're actually up in Michigan. He called around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and gave us the news. So what was going to be a nice sound sleep then became tossing and turning and nerves. Then, but fortunately, it's an afternoon game. So we didn't have to wait all the way till 8 o'clock tonight for the game to start. But we were just thrilled for him. He was thrilled. Speaking with him on the phone, you know, we could sense the excitement that he had. You know, the feeling of being able to overcome, you know, all the obstacles that have been in his way to get to this point. And you know, Steve kind of talked about that with Delino DeShields. You know, and yeah, Zach got knocked down a couple times and. You know, he picked himself up. He worked hard, as he always does, and got himself in a position where he's going to be able to make his MLB debut.
Debbie, when you talk about Zach and Bob was just talking about the major injuries, you get an arm injury and a knee injury. How do you feel about this moment, considering everything that he's been through?
He has worked so hard for this moment. Yeah, he has been through a lot, and he's always had, as they say, the eye on the ball, and he was working hard for this moment, and I'm just thrilled and excited for him, and I know he really is excited to be in Chicago, and I just want to give a little call out to Downers Grove because we've had so many well wishes from friends, families, coaches. I think everybody's watching today, so we can't be there, but we've had a lot of people calling, and we have a group here in our family room watching his granddad and his aunts and uncles. So we're excited. We're very excited.
I've seen it close up how competitive the boys are and your family was, but for people who don't know, what was your house like with them growing up? You get two major leaguers under the same roof.
Yes, you have seen that. I think you even got to see them play some video games, too.
Well, I got trounced by both of them is what happened when I was over there.
Yeah, between Nick and Zach, and then, of course, their older brother, Drew, who played football at Western Michigan. They are very competitive. You know, I still have, when the Sox won the World Series, we have a lot of memorabilia down in our basement, and there's a big hole behind that Sox poster of the World Series because I think somebody lost, and I can't remember, it might have been Nick, lost It was either Nick or Drew, and they punched a hole into the wall. That's how competitive, and we just put that Sox poster, and it hasn't moved. So anyways, they are competitive. It's always it's never boring in the Birdie house. That is for sure.
To think about two major leaguers from the same family, like when did you all know that this was going to be such a special group of three boys athletically?
Well, their older brother Drew kind of set the stage. He loved sports. I love sports. Debbie loves sports. So Drew spent a lot of time with us watching sports. We used to play in the yard. And then Nick was born 5 years after Drew. So Drew was kind of showing everyone how to play these games. And then Zach was 7 years after Drew, and Zach was just always so anxious and excited to play with the big boys. But Nick had a rule for him: if he cried, he had to go home. So Zach would get abused by the boys, but he never would cry because he always wanted to play. So they kind of all really taught each other how to be competitive, how to work hard. Drew was a real hard worker. He taught the boys how to work hard, never give up. If it's something that you really, really want, you're going to have to put in the time, and with that comes sacrifices. Where your other friends are hanging out and doing things that you'd like to do, you can't because you're working on baseball or football, whatever the sport was. So we're very fortunate to have Drew as a leader with the boys.
So I know this doesn't replace everybody being here, but how many people would you have had in this ballpark if this was normal times?
How many seats are there?
Yeah, I think we talked about renting a couple buses, so there definitely would have been a section filled. Lots of birdies in the family who are huge Sox fans, friends, coaches. Again, a lot of people from Downers Grove. We had a lot of people who would have liked to have been there.
We see Zach right now just pacing in the bullpen. I know you're pacing too. What do you think he's thinking, knowing him?
Oh, that's a great question, Jason. I think what he's really kind of focusing on is, well, you're going to love it. I sent him a text this morning with 3 simple points. Hopefully he's focusing on those. But I think he's really thinking, okay, I got here because I was throwing well in Schaumburg. Let's just keep throwing like I was throwing in Schaumburg, and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
How much did you all coach the boys? Like, how did that work growing up?
Well, I was kind of so the boys played for an organization, Long Shot Baseball out of Downers Grove, and I managed Nick's team with a couple other guys. So Debbie kind of had Zachary, and we were fortunate that we had really good coaches down at with Zach. So they kind of handled that. I took care of Nick, and but the one thing, Jason, to remember is that my wife is. And not only is she beautiful and smart, she's also very athletic. So they get a lot of their natural athleticism from Debbie. So
I think their granddad would say it comes from him.
Well.
Which, by the way, you paying attention to the bullpen?
Oh, is it happening? No.
He's warming up right now.
Okay. So that now the Tums are going to come into action again. I think I've had a couple of those already. So this is when I pace.
So when he was in AAA, when he was at Louisville, what's your ritual for watching the games when he pitches? How do you do with that, both of you?
Well, we separate. We are never sitting next to each other. I will tell you that because Bob likes to be in one area. I like to be able to get up if I have to pace, and we're very superstitious, so we just usually are just in our spots that we always feel very lucky being in.
And if something works, then we stick with that. Like we had a run of 6 or 7 games where I made Debbie sit on the stairs and listen while I watched it.
And I'm serious, he did.
Wait, you didn't even get to watch the game? You had to listen to it?
No, I had to listen because whenever I came into the room, somebody would throw a ball, so he said it was my fault, so I had to sit on the stairs.
Well, don't ever go out for a pizza because you'll never be allowed back in the house if a good thing happens.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's been so great to talk to you. We're going to let you go do whatever you need to do. But Bob and Debbie, and to your whole family, we love your family very much, and we can't wait for Zach to get into this ball game. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
The Birdie family on the phone. Zachary's getting ready. I think we can call him that now. Sox will bat next. I'd like to welcome all our White Sox fans watching in Virginia, Illinois on Cascom. Hello to everybody in Virginia, northwest of Springfield. We thank you for joining us. And it was great to have the Birdies on the phone. That is a wonderful family. They're awesomely competitive people. It was a couple years ago. We were doing a web series where I played video games against Sox players. And we've never aired it, but the Sox TV folks and I spent a couple hours. We had dinner at the Birdie family house, and I played video games against Zach and Nick, and I have never gotten distracted in video games as much in all my life as those kids did playing Nintendo 64 that night.
Would have been a great movie, Weekend at Birdie's.
Wow, and I get all the jabs for being the incredibly bad punster. Yes, thank you, Frankie.
And there he is. He's coming in.
Adam Engel pops it up. Third base side, and Ramirez for out number one. Into the studio, Chuck Garfien for an upcoming look at what's going on Subaru Postgame Live, maybe. Ozzy's got a great tie today, by the way. That's an outstanding tie. Who does he think's out here? Thanks, guys. Can't wait for postgame. We look forward to it. Bill and Frank over here doing the games, Ozzy. Could be anybody.
Never know. I mean, they're taking volunteers. We'll see who shows up in a couple of days. Meantime, Zach Plesac is sailing right along. He's got a big lead. He's handled Yoan Moncada very well by not throwing him a whole lot of strikes. When he does, Yoan has been taking him. Got caught looking in the first inning. But when you have a big lead like this, you just tell yourself it's a 0-0 game, and I have to still pound the strike zone.
Inside, close pitch, 2-2. Jim tweeted in, said, didn't Yolmer destroy your spirit in FIFA, the video game? Yes, Jim, thank you. So it was a tie for the worst destruction in video games for me. Thank you. Appreciate it. This is what Twitter's for. 2-2 is strike three, and 2 down.
Hey, Sox fans, Xfinity XFi gives you the Wi-Fi security with a warning track on a smarter, more secure home Wi-Fi network. If it's connected, it's protected.
I love the idea of Wi-Fi with a warning track.
It's a good idea. It lets you know that something is coming up.
That's what you're here for.
At the ballpark, it's the wall, but at home, you never know.
2 down, Eloy Jimenez. Sox have been very aggressive last couple of batters against Plesac.
He throws a lot of strikes, and Yoan, for his part, is not picking him up because he's swinging it a lot of pitches out of the zone.
Tipped into the glove, 0-2. Well, look, Zach Birdie getting loose, and we talked about it a little bit with his parents and the family up there in Michigan taking it all in, but Zach's been through major arm surgery and major knee surgery. And to think about everything he's been through in this upcoming debut, this is one of those moments that makes you really appreciate hard work. Zach Birdie getting loose. Here we go.
You're coming in the ball game. Moment for Zach Birdie, one that nobody in the family, not him, not his folks, not his brothers, will ever forget. Those are the minor league numbers. He's got very good stuff. Let's see if he brings it with him today.
There's got to be a Downers Grove South watch party going on right now. A lot of happy Mustangs out there as Zach Birdie hits a major league hill for the very first time, and he will face the Cleveland Indians here in the 6th. We thank you for joining us wherever you might be. We know that some folks are out there pacing right now.
The pressure's on Zach more than normal to throw a high fastball fouled back into the booth so he can give it to his parents.
Wow.
I mean, if he throws a high fastball, you got two right-handers this inning. Let's see what happens.
First pitch, ball one. And speaking of seeing what happens, Zach Birdie, as he took the mound, just looking around at all the sights that he saw as a kid, coming here as a young baseball player and actually being on the diamond at Guaranteed Rate Field, and he throws his first strike in a major league jersey.
Nothing wrong with the velocity. 99 on the first two pitches.
One. Fouled away right side. That one's up to 99 as well.
Just a little off to the right.
We got to get somebody to collect one of those foul balls to give it to the family if it doesn't come into the booth.
Yeah, that would be very nice.
He's going to end up with his first strikeout. He's going to end up with whatever they give him memorabilia wise, but you got to have some for the family as well. 1-2. Fouled away. Santana doesn't want to be that first strikeout.
Good slider.
Luplow, I should say. Maybe I should fill out my lineup card properly. I actually forgot to cross off the innings. Thank you for the reminder.
That can happen.
1-2 for Luplow. From Birdie. Popped up. Birdie wanted it. Grandal takes it. One gone. So we talked about the family Birdie and the brothers. This is me playing video games actually with the family and getting crushed by Nick and Zach. That was over Christmas. And there are the boys on another Christmas holiday. That is awesome, isn't it?
Sure is that. And
a couple of Louisville Cardinals.
Yeah, it's just great. It really is wonderful to raise one professional player, let alone two major league players.
Bo Taylor, the batter. And Birdie throws ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You wish luck and everything else, but the one thing that you always wish for a new pitcher coming to the major leagues is health. Because if he has health, that arm is good enough to be very productive.
Well, he's been through enough. I mean, you would hope that fortune would smile on Zach Birdie after arm surgery and then the knee trouble as well. And you see the major league debuts already this year, 7 of them.
You'd have to figure we haven't seen the last one either. It's still really early in this season.
One and two. Just off the plate outside. He tried to cut him down with a slider.
That one drifts outside. Good idea, though. Try to throw it back door and get the first strikeout.
2-2 coming. Check swing. He went strike 3. Zack Burdi's first strikeout is out number 2 in the inning.
Taylor's the guy. A fastball down. He couldn't check it up. And there it is. Authenticated, archived, and a souvenir for life.
Will, the authenticator, was all over the ballpark last night, and there it's all stamped. It's about to be delivered, and great stuff for Zack Burdi with that very first strikeout. It is Bo Taylor, and this is a long time coming for Zack.
Long time and a lot of battles, and here he is making it all worthwhile.
That arm is still very lively.
Yeah, 98 low and away. Not a lot of guys in any league are going to hit that.
You know, every parent wants their kids to have smooth sailing and everything to be easy, but it might be even more rewarding for the Burdi family to see everything that Zack and Nick have gone through in terms of injuries and still end up being major league pitchers and still throw 98 like he just did.
There's just some great arms around Major League Baseball these days. Big, young, strong guys, and Burdi's got one of those.
One ball and 2 strikes. 2 down, 6th inning. On the ground at third, Moncada knocks it down but can't make the play.
That one hit awfully hard, and Yuan did a nice job of just getting the glove up and making sure it doesn't go in the left field corner. He's playing off the line, not expecting DeShields is going to pull it. Able to knock it down. You see Jordan Baker saying it was fair all the way, and the inning rolls along.
There's a strike. Oh, 1 on Hernandez, and it's skied foul left side. 0-2.
Hit movies, current shows, exclusive originals, timely updates, and everything else. Watch for free. Upgrade for more at PeacockTV.com.
Former first-round pick, 2016. He and Zach Collins, that same year, first-round picks for the Sox, both on the roster now. One, 2. On the grounded foul, first base side. Glance at first for Zack Burdi. 1-2. It's downstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
A lot of life on that, but out of the zone.
Pitch number 21 in the major league career of Zack Burdi to Cesar Hernandez. He struck him out. 2 strikeouts, same inning. Soak it in, Zach.
First Midwest Bank, and it is the debut of Zack Burdi. He had most of the experience. The first out, the first hit, the first strikeout, and the second strikeout. All in one action-packed inning. A big smile on his face. They can never take that away from him. Put that one in the archives.
That's just about as close as Zach gets to smiling on the baseball diamond. It's a very competitive family. It was like a grimace smile that, hey, I wish I hadn't given up that base runner. But Zack Burdi making his debut, and he will have a lot of collectibles after this ball game with his first 2 strikeouts, and maybe, just maybe, a Sox comeback in the last 4 times at bat. (2-0) to shortstop Lindor. Low, and the catch. I heard an uh-oh from down on the field. Don't know if it was Jose or somebody else. Test your luck during every White Sox game this season. It's the 50-50 raffle Sox split presented by Wintrust, on sale now until the end of the 7th inning. Current jackpot $1,205. And get your split the pot 50-50 tickets at whitesox.com/Sox split. Valid for Illinois residents 18 and over. Foul ball from Yasmani Grandal, who's 1 for 2. Single to right in the 2nd inning, strikeout in the 3rd against Plesac, who once again has been quite good for the Cleveland Indians, whose starting pitching has been otherworldly. I mean, this is the team that has been allowing their starters to go longer, and rightfully so. They've been really difficult to hit.
The Indians aren't going to dazzle you with their offense most of the time. However, with all of their switch hitters, giving them balance in the lineup on a nightly basis and a strong pitching staff, the worst news for the division is that Brad Hand is starting to throw it well again. And so if the bullpen starts to pick it up on the back end to go with overwhelming starting pitching, the Indians should be there all year long and a formidable foe in a short series.
Sox and Indians are tied at 2 in the first 4. So this game and then 5 others remaining. Tomorrow night, the end of this series on Sunday Night Baseball. Stoney and I will be at home watching the game along with you. You got big plans for tomorrow night?
Well, what I think I'm going to do is scrap all of those plans that I had, watch the game, and tweet with some of our fans, whether they like it or not. No, I will tweet with some of our fans and share some perceptions.
I like it. There's strike 3 called. Grandal was not happy. And 2 down. Here's your Sox Files question for today. Hashtag Sox Files. Who is this that we're talking about? MLB debut the year he was drafted, 1 postseason start, and his initials play well in Cincinnati. We have a KRP.
Trevor Bauer?
No.
Oh.
Sox Files, not Reds Files.
Okay, well, I thought you might have been deviating.
His initials play well in Cincinnati. CVG. KRP. Is Les Nessman on the Sox?
Could very well be.
That's a good partner. You go along with anything in that case.
Oh. Anybody with the initials of L.A.? Lonnie Anderson?
Yes, absolutely. I owed you one. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mazara.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll put that in the bank.
Two and 1 for Nomar.
And one of the things that has to come about if the Sox are really going to stay consistent is Nomar, who had a late start on this year. He's got to come back and start swinging it like he knows he can, and the Sox feel he can.
He's never really had a couple games in a row where he's gotten to play.
No sooner does he get back in the lineup than he fouls one off his foot, and so things have been disruptive for him.
Down ball 4, first walk for Plesac today. I can't get that third clue out of my head. I keep thinking about why somebody's initials would play well in Cincinnati. Meeting coming at the mound here.
Well, a good hitting instructor does it. He's not with the Sox, but Chili Davis could be, because between Skyline chili and Gold Star chili and all of the Cincinnati chili that everybody eats, which, by the way, if you're not born there, is a little difficult for you, but chili's big in Cincinnati.
It very much is. And Grater's ice cream. They love Grater's in Cincinnati. I think the crew is just letting us stew here. They don't want to show us the answer. We're like trying to guide them into maybe getting it off our mind. Hashtag Sox Files. They're just showing us a bunch of other stuff. Oh, here we go. Oh, Ross Emery Detweiler. Red. One postseason start with the Nationals. That's a good one, crew. I like that.
Yeah, it is a good one.
I was hoping they'd actually make us wait longer. I thought they were doing it as a joke.
Much too clever for the likes of you and I, however, because we'd have been here for a month and not gotten that.
Yeah, we. Who's that team plays there? 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
We'll see how Luis hits down in the lineup. I would think it really doesn't matter where you hit him. I think he's just going to hit. 1 for 2 today. The only extra base hit the Sox have had is that double in the 4th inning.
Second base, a slow roller. And that will do it. To the 7th inning we go on a Saturday afternoon.
Shorts 8 for 8. So Jace Fry is going to come in mercifully to eliminate this conversation any further. I got there the year after that, by the way.
I'm going to segue back to it. So he's
thankfully
not.
So there's Jace on for the 6th time, and he has added importance, being a meaningful left-hander coming out of the bullpen with Aaron Bummer down for an indeterminate amount of time.
Aaron continuing to be evaluated. He's on the injured list with that bicep strain. After a throw to first last night, and then his first pitch after that, he felt a twinge as there's Garcia on a dive, and Leury Garcia's hurt. He got up to throw the ball and then planted back down.
He just tweaked his back, and I'm hoping that he's okay, because that's one of the situations where, and he says he's okay, which is good, one of the situations where you do it, you play through it, but then it starts to stiffen up. So hopefully he is okay, because he's really meant a lot to this team. And as he got up to try to throw it, nothing doing.
Yeah, the way his shoulders turned.
Yep.
He sort of arched his back and went down in a heap. So a ball that stays on the infield, is single for Ramirez, and you see it right away. First pitch to Lindor is in for a strike. You're telling me you wouldn't have wanted to wear shorts to play baseball as a pitcher?
Yes, that's what I'm telling you.
Why? You're a pitcher. What does it matter to you?
I understand that, but these legs cannot be exposed to the sun. Right now you can show movies on them. So if you expose them to the sun, it could be tragic. Yeah, no, I didn't care to wear those.
Thought I might be able to change your opinion.
Not yet.
Nope. Not to this point. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Lindor.
You ever wanted to rep the South Side?
I have, yeah. I've got some sock stuff at home.
Okay.
You could rep the South Side wearing shorts, you know.
It's coming.
What is that? Was ominous.
Rep the South Side anywhere, anytime, and with the My Teams app. Keep up with the latest stories, listen to podcasts, and stream games. Download the My Teams app today.
You know, before you came around, people thought those promos were organic, that they just sort of popped up in the stream of discussion. But nope. That is no longer possible.
Well, they do pop up, especially when it's 6-0 Indians.
Yeah.
I got something else that popped up.
What's that?
A text I just got from
I'm scared.
a couple of dear friends of mine who have a grandson, Jace, who's watching the game. They're Clevelanders. We went to grade school together, junior high school together. Judy and Al Feldman, we went to high school together, and they literally met, I believe, in the 3rd grade, have been together ever since, which is absolutely astonishing. So enjoy the game. Even though you're Indians fans, still, Alan and Judy, always good to hear from you.
On the ground to 3rd, Moncada to 2nd, and that's all that the Sox will get. What's interesting to me about your shout outs to your friends or people that we know and Sox fans, and we like to talk to people directly on the telecast, you can never get through one of those without like a very slight snarky comment. Like it could have just been, oh, we've known each other since this time and they got together in 3rd grade, blah, blah, blah. And then you say, even though you're Indians fans.
No snark. That was just stating the obvious. They were Clevelanders, have maintained their allegiance, which is somewhat noble, despite the fact that I do believe they live in Maryland now. And 8-year-old Jace is watching the game.
Is Jace Fry his favorite player?
He will be now. They had no idea we had a Jace on the club, but we've informed them of that.
First pitch breaking ball, 1-0 on Santana. Cleveland has all 6 of its runs in the 4th inning tonight, or today. In there for a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. The amount of people who have written in to ask for dibs on our foul ball that comes into the booth whenever it does is getting large and full of fame, by the way. We have one person asking for it to go to Roger Bennett from Men in Blazers. Keith Olbermann has sent a tweet with a picture of all of his memorabilia where the ball would live.
Well,
so like
good.
he's got an application with the future home in it. Fly ball left-hand side. It's Adam Engel going back. And Adam at the warning track without the Wi-Fi. 2 down.
T-Mobile's your ticket to the game with America's largest 5G network. See, it's got to be a combination of a right-hand hitter with a fairly hard-throwing right-hand pitcher. Then everything aligns for a ball to come back up here, and we'll see if that happens today. It's been close, just not today yet. The bat speed this guy has with a high fastball, he could get it back here, but Jace is not a hard throwing left-hander, although he does have a really good breaking ball.
There's strike one. You were talking about the Feldmans. Did you play against them in high school?
Al and I played together. Alfie was a terrific baseball player and a quarterback on the football team.
Huh.
Went on to play quarterback in college.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was that?
I went on to find the footlights. You went on to find whatever the space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sky. It's right up there.
I think he went to Denison.
Pop the glove for a strike. 1-2.
Reyes, for a big guy, makes solid contact, and we saw just how strong he is. A fourth inning rocket. The only time he was retired was a line drive shot that Danny Mendick caught.
Two and two. Franmil Reyes, a couple innings ago, hit himself a 2-run home run. It was a line drive. Follow the arrow into center field, and a 2-run shot off the bat, nearly 108 miles an hour. To second base, Danny Mendick plays it on a hop and ends the inning. Well, Steve was going to take you down memory lane. We now.
It's a defense of Leury Garcia, which has been really strong this year. I mean, he's made some just great plays, and bear in mind, Tim Anderson's going to come back, but in his place, Leury has done a great job at shortstop. He came up a shortstop. He plays everywhere, but he's obviously enjoying going over there and making play after play to both sides, and he's got a good, strong arm to back it up.
A little Jordan in him, too, with the tongue there.
The new pitcher in the ball game. Side-arming right-hander, most unusual motion. And Cimber is viewed well by left-handers. Hasn't given up anything this year, however.
Adam Cimber kind of looks like one of those wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men that you put outside of car dealerships. Body type wise, he's got really good stuff.
He does that, and that was a great acquisition. He came over from San Diego along with Brad Hand in one of the better deals for the Indians. That, and you would have to think Clevenger for Vinny Pastano. That's one the folks in Cleveland are going to remember for a while.
You know what? In a world where deliveries of pitchers are more and more uniform, and guys look like they're sort of factory made, love the unique feel of Adam Cimber. When he comes out to the mound, you know it's him. He's stringy, he's elastic, and he's got a funky delivery, but it adds character to the game.
You know, we've talked about this a few times, and I think it bears repeating. There are pitching schools teaching guys, if anything, let's say the drive line way of doing it, the max effort guys, and there's a lot of guys coming out and using that, and Trevor Bauer is a great proponent of that. And as we move along, there'll be more and more of those guys, which probably means that some forward-thinking organization will bring back a couple of the better knuckleballers who are around and start to try to teach that. And the guy doesn't necessarily have to be a pitcher that's using that pitch. He can be some of the position players had the best knuckleballs I've ever seen. So the fact is that if you find one or two, number one, they can be a bullpen saver in an era where you'd love to have that, or a starting pitcher who can go as long as you need him to go. And I think probably people have tried. I don't know how much they've tried, but I'm thinking if you're looking for something that can give you an edge, bring one of those guys to the major leagues. We haven't seen a good one in a bit, but you would think that one is just on the horizon, especially a pitcher who knows how to pitch, but maybe the arm isn't quite as good anymore.
We've seen guys change from position players and then go and try to mess around with the knuckleball and things like that, but nobody has consistently made that happen in the big leagues recently.
But what a weapon it is with this max effort era of pitchers that we've seen. I'm thinking he could be really useful, whether he's in the bullpen or the rotation.
Swing and a miss, strike three. One down in the 7th. Baseball is back, and the MLB app is the only place to get all your baseball action. In-game video highlights, live pitch by pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, standings, and much more. Download the MLB app today, the #1 app for live baseball. I want to get your thoughts on the footwork of Adam Cimber. He sort of got a pigeon-toed start to the way he begins his motion. And now he's going to throw to first, and it's an on-target throw from a pitcher to first base.
I will tell you one of the reasons why I believe he turns in his front foot. And I think some pitchers will be going to that. We've seen more pitchers doing that. That's an effort to try to stay closed. We talk about that all the time. By turning in his front foot and not doing much with it, he stays closed automatically because he's closed to start with.
When you say stays closed, just for people who don't know.
Keep the front shoulder in. Don't open up the front side too early, because if you do open up the front side, a right-hand pitcher is going to throw high and away to left-handers and high and in to right-handers. And the worst thing you can do with any of your pitches is open up too soon. So you keep the left shoulder in if you're a right-hand pitcher, the right shoulder in if you're a left-hand pitcher, and you're probably going to have a repeatable motion. Even if the motion looks like that, you can repeat it. And also you're going to have much better control. I think that's his effort to do it.
Yeah, I think that's odd for people to hear, that it's a repeatable motion what Cimber's doing. Why is that?
Without a repeatable motion, you have no chance of consistent control.
I'm saying there's a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah,
it would seem to the viewer.
Right, and there is, but he's repeating those same moving parts. And that's really the key to getting the ball over the plate.
Adam got a big hunk of that ball.
He did, but what happens is from the angle that Cimber is throwing, that ball is moving in to Adam Engel, and it's starting inside. So when he gets to it, it's 3 or 4 inches inside, and it's very few hitters can take that pitch and keep it fair. You get the head of the bat out, you always yank it foul.
Strike 3, wrapped it around, bottom of the zone, and the inning's over. Good stuff from Cimber, and we will go to the 8th. Hot up, outrageous. Wild pitch and a pass ball in the 4th inning. That gave Cleveland the lead. Steve's cackling in the corner. Franmil Reyes, a 2-run home run deep center field. The cackling continues. Luplow deep to left field, and it was 6-0 in favor of Cleveland. But the debut and the awe-inspiring look at the field from Zach Burdi. So many major league debuts this year already for the Sox, including Cody Hoyer, and the first start for Matt Foster today. But Zach Plesac, 7 strikeouts, and here's what they look like. I mean, the one ball is actually excavating all the way straight down through the earth. And he used the fastball for 4, curveball that 1, and then the slider for 2.
I think Cleveland's getting pretty used to Plesac whipping up a gem, and he did it again today. A new pitcher in the ball game, Steve Cishek. So we've got dueling sidearmers. They got Cimber, and there is Cishek on for the 7th time.
Did you ever try to throw sidearm?
I would, as they call it, throw crossfire on occasion, but that's a home run, so we'll go to 7-0.
You are correct, sir. Ouch.
Yeah, kind of a no-doubter. We told you that Santana, this Santana, has big power, and there he showed it to you. Ford home run replay. Keeping the ball inside is problematic if they get the head of the bat out. Takes a peek into the dugout, and this one is way out of here.
There's a new worst sound for a pitcher, by the way, in the era of COVID-19. It used to be the ball hitting the bat. That's not social distancing. It used to be the ball hitting the bat, and now it's the ball hitting an empty bleacher and going ping.
Yeah, you get that from a pitching standpoint, that sickening sound of a ball squarely hit, and then you hear the ping of the seats.
So you were talking about throwing sidearm. Have you ever done it?
Yes, I used to throw what they called at the time crossfire, just to try to get a strikeout. I mean, you give them a different look. I was a high 3/4 pitcher. I think a lot of guys like to use that technique, but occasionally you try to surprise them with a new look. And then you got to make sure that every time you drop down, it's not a curveball. Occasionally, if you drop down, you have to throw a fastball to make sure they're not finding you predictable.
Foul ball, third base side.
I honestly believe that most of the pitchers who use that consistently are guys who somewhere in the course of their earlier careers have hurt their arms, because it's a lot less strain on your arm to throw from down there. It's a more natural motion.
So you're talking about messing around and giving a different look. Who was the most thoughtful hitter, the smartest hitter you ever faced, that you had really good battles with?
I didn't have any battles with him, but as smart a hitter as I ever played with,
Yep.
maybe surprised some people, but Dick Allen.
Really?
Yeah, he used to tell me certain things that would happen, or if they did happen, he was going to do this or do that. I mean, a prolific talent. And I remember one time he said, you know, Mike Cuellar from the Baltimore Orioles, who won a Cy Young Award, one of their mainstays, he always starts me off with a slow curveball. At the time, there had been 10 balls hit over the roof at Old Comiskey Park. He said, if he starts me off with a slow curveball tonight, I'm going to hit it over the roof. Slow curveball, he hit it over the roof.
Is that right?
Yes, exactly as I'm telling you, that's what happened.
Wow.
Then he makes a mistake at first base. A lot of people don't know that 2 fingers on his right hand, because of an accident where he's pushing a car, he had no feeling in those 2 fingers. So it was a cold day in Milwaukee and he dropped a ball. It led to 2 runs, and it was 2-0, and the wind was howling in from right field, and he comes by me in the stand, in the dugout, and he says, if they throw me away, I'm going to tie up this game for you. They threw him a fastball away early in the count, and he hit a screaming meanie into the teeth of the wind and tied up the game at 2. I mean, he just could do pretty much anything, and he was really smart about it. Quite a player, that man.
Yeah, I don't know that enough people know that about Dick Allen.
Well, I think if they got a chance to know him, and I was certainly very happy to do that, they'll realize, 1, he's a wonderful human being, and 2, what talent he had. He was also a great basketball player. A lot of people don't know that. So, former White Sox player, and just a really good one.
One down to Shields, the batter. And now 0-2 on Delino DeShields. The Sox in the home 8th are going to have the top of the order up. But if we didn't see Zach Plesac anymore the rest of the year, I don't know that anybody would be disappointed, except maybe the Plesac family, who has a bunch of Sox fans in it, and they're watching young Zach carve up his lineup.
Well, Zach and his friends were huge White Sox fans growing up. Not so much anymore for Zach, who is doing quite a job with the Indians.
Well, you got to believe, I mean, Zach goes 8 scoreless the last time he saw the Sox, and the Sox ended up winning the game. I mean, that's best case scenario for the family of Sox fans. One and 2 from Cishek on DeShields. And he struck him out. Breaking ball down and away. 2 gone in the 8th.
Tomorrow the White Sox are playing on Sunday Night Baseball, but we'll be right back here Monday on NBC Sports Chicago for the start of the series against the Tigers. Dallas Keuchel takes the mound with coverage starting at 5:30.
Tigers are playing pretty good baseball. They were picked last by most publications in the AL Central this year, but they've hovered around 500. And Ron Gardenhire, a very good manager. They added C.J. Cron. Miguel Cabrera still is swinging it a little bit, even with all of his back issues. And those young players that we saw last year, Travis Demeritte, Grayson Greiner, getting a year older. Candelario over at third base. Victor Reyes, who's got some speed.
Kobe Jones, who started off pretty well. And they've got some really good young arms. Tigers, pitching wise, look like they're going to be ready to go for a while.
They started today's game homer, single, homer, homer to go up 6-0 on the Pirates, and one more homer on that. I left a homer off.
That's a good start.
Yeah, thank goodness the Simpsons didn't do that.
Yikes.
1 ball and 2 strikes for the Charlotte Knights. Their mascot Homer. We hope they're watching down in the Queen City of North Carolina. Inning over, bottom 8. The Sox will swing it with Moncada next.
And an official debit card. Only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more.
New pitcher for Cleveland, Cam Hill, comes in for Adam Simber, who struck out 2 and got a ground ball right back to him in the 7th inning. So the native of nearby Oklahoma City, well, near Oklahoma City. It's not nearby here, but he was from just around OKC. He will throw against the top of the order for the Sox.
Pretty good back end of the bullpen, and he's had a real good start to this season.
Cam Hill grew up a shortstop. He in fact did not throw much in high school. Became a pitcher in college. He went to community college. Became a pitcher as Moncada slices this ball to right field. Well hit, way back there, and well up and out of here. That ball was demolished by Yoan Moncada.
Well, you knew he got it because he stood at the plate, and that's one you really want to admire for a moment or two, and that's his 3rd of the year. He'd been very quiet today until that. It looked like a hanging breaking ball up in the zone, and he got every bit of that. Watch it again, our Ford home run replay. It is a curve. Doesn't curve. Stays up. And long gone.
Ford home run replay and follow the bouncing ball. My gosh. Eloy Jimenez takes a called strike, 0-1.
There's another really good pitcher for a long time in the major leagues who was a shortstop also, Zach Greinke. And Greinke was a terrific hitter to go with it. I think he did, however, make the right choice, judging by the contracts he signed during the course of his career.
How many years is it now for Zach Greinke? Wow, debuted in 2004.
Yeah, lots of years. Lots of years.
17 seasons in Major League Baseball for Greinke.
And when you watch him now, the stuff isn't near the same, but he's so smart with it. It's a steady diet of off-speed pitches and different looks, and still very effective.
"19 straight games on base for Yoan Moncada, which ties his career high. That wraps around at the end of 2019. This to right field from Eloy. Santana is there to make the catch, and we get a sneak peek at what's coming up on White Sox Postgame Live, presented by Subaru. Chuck. Chuck, did I just hear that there was some strife between Ozzie and Dan Plesac? Oh, no. No. Hope so. I love it. I love that Ozzie was in the parking lot. He was like, oh, I just want to say hi to you. That's great. That is awesome. Chuck and Ozzie, a great team in the studio. Scotty Pods will join him as well. I think Chuck asking Ozzie if they'll talk about Nick Swisher today is going to be funny for the next like 7 years. 1 ball, 1 strike on Grandal, who's 1 for 3. One and 2 on Yasmani Grandal. What a tough day behind the plate today as you see Hoyer and Detweiler getting loose.
Ross has had some time away, and he's been exceptionally effective. Sox are trying to play over some really difficult injuries that are starting to pile up. And one of the things I said when the season started is, yes, you have to be a good team, but this year more than any other year you have to be a lucky team, because injuries mean so much more this year than they've ever meant before, even with expanded rosters. Your key guys go down. You know, you talk about 2.7 for every victory, for every loss. Same thing for injuries. Look at, you know, the IL at 10 games. That's the equivalent of just under a month of games.
It's 17% of your season gone if you go on the IL at the very least.
And so it's really difficult to overcome injuries to the key guys on your club, whether they be in your rotation, a key piece, back end of the bullpen, whatever it is. It's difficult, and the Sox have absorbed both the Anderson and the Madrigal injuries. That's a double play combination for years to come, and the Sox lost them both. Zach Collins comes into the ball game. Believe me, no team is going to feel sorry for you as the injuries pile up, but it becomes much more difficult as they do start to pile up.
Well, and let alone, you know, a spotty couple of positive tests that leave you without a portion of your roster, like we've seen with the Marlins and the Cardinals. More than spotty circumstances is, I mean, the Marlins are one of the most amazing stories right now in sports over the past bunch of decades. I mean, after everything they've gone through to open 7-1,
pretty amazing. It really is amazing.
Marlins will play at the Mets tonight. Daniel Castano making his major league debut. He was in A-ball and Double-A last year. He's the one starting for the Marlins tonight against the former Oregon Duck David Peterson. As this ball is on the ground in right field and off the wall. Collins, the pinch runner, gets to third and stops there. Nomar Mazara has a 2-out double.
That swing was more the Mazara swing that we saw at times in Texas. This is the first time where he had an opportunity to really explode on one. I mean, it's a high fastball. He just drills it. It's hard enough to go out of the ballpark, doesn't have the height. But this is more like the guy that we believe we're going to see as things move along.
So you got a tweet.
Yes.
That and if he, it looks like, just doing some research, that looks like the official Twitter account from Dick Allen. He doesn't have a blue check mark.
It does not have a blue check mark. That's why I looked at it askance.
But there's the tweet. Love me some Steve Stone. Thanks for the kind words, my friend.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I didn't say anything that wasn't the truth. He was quite a guy, and I think one of the more misunderstood guys in the history of our game.
You can't shake the feeling that if he played right now, people would appreciate him a lot more.
I think so. I do believe that. I know wherever he played, they would certainly appreciate him.
There he is, Dick Allen, over his illustrious career, 351 home runs, including that awesome 1972 year, his MVP season with the Sox. Check swing, no go, ball and a strike on Robert. If people haven't seen Dick Allen play, who would you compare him to in the way he played?
It's just really hard to make a comparison. He had a most unusual style. Swung a 40-ounce bat. Nobody uses a 40-ounce bat anymore.
You gotta be a strong guy to do that.
Well, even stronger, because if you slowed down the swing, you realize that as the pitch was coming, he tilted the bat so that literally the barrel was pointing at the pitcher, and he was able to get the bat around to drive the ball to center or right center field mostly.
Strike three, inning over. Sox get a run, but leave a couple. We will go to the ninth inning. Wampum PA's finest. Look at that bat.
It was a log.
Then it's IDOT, right?
Where that one? Well, yeah, IDOT to its friends, certainly. And the exit velocity, 108.4. Oh, you can't beat that launch angle.
What?
Well above major league average. Wind or no wind, lively ballpark or not, that one goes out of the ballpark. 600 feet it went.
Did not go 600 feet. Will the Authenticator's on the hunt for it? That's great. That's great fun. Just out there in the old wilderness.
Right.
Looking for the home run ball.
448.
Moncada search party of 4.
He better keep that one as Detweiler comes into the game. Just getting an inning to keep him sharp. Been a great run out of the pen this year. 8 1/3. Nothing. 1-0 record. No walks, 7 strikeouts. It's a little more difficult because he's been coming into consequential games as finally it's located.
They look like Paulie and Chris in that episode of The Sopranos looking for the Ukrainian guy.
I remember that. You just saw that again.
For the first time. To right field, and Mazzara is there to make the catch. One down. Yoan Moncada, we've talked about him as a possible MVP candidate in the future, and you compare him to other third basemen, which is a very deep position in Major League Baseball. He was number 6 in wins above replacement according to Fangraphs, and those are huge all-star numbers from those guys.
I mean, look at the guys that he's in competition with. Almost to a man, except I think for Devers, they're older than him, and he's got some room to grow.
You know, it's interesting. The Red Sox basically decided on Devers instead of Moncada.
Yeah.
That was what ended up happening with that trade. Now, is that the baseball? They found a bunch of baseballs, but the question is that the baseball?
Well, it's got a flat side, so it's easy to identify.
That is the very definition of social distancing.
Yeah, and we're going to be back Monday, and I'm sure they will have located it by then.
You think so?
Not many folks to distract them.
Fouled away right side. It's 2-1 on Lindor. The hunt is on. Row by row, there they go. It's round It has a scuff mark on it.
Yeah, I would say a pretty substantial one.
2-2 on Lindor. All right, let's watch the ball fly and see where it goes into the seat. It just sort of gets sucked into the forest of green there.
Could be jammed in that seat.
You think it's lodged?
Could be lodged also.
2-2 to left field. And that stays in the ballpark off the wall. Throw coming in to second base is right there. Adam Engel lights up that ballpark with a throw to second base. And Lindor is out.
Well, he should have been out twice today. That's just a brilliant play by Adam Engel. The biggest problem here for an outfielder is getting trapped too close to the wall. And Engel is back, and this ball is just waiting for Lindor to arrive. You're not kidding, Ross. That was a dandy.
Adam Engel, who's played now left, center, and right already this season. Luis Roberts taken over center field. I should say left, center, and right over the past couple seasons. Roberts been in charge of center field this year, but I mean, Adam, his defense has never been a question.
No, and that was a particularly good play. First of all, he showed a very strong and, more important than that, accurate arm. And second of all, he played the carom so well. Lindor was probably the most surprised man in the ballpark that he actually was cut down at second by a wide margin.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Adam Engel's a very strong. Oh boy, it continues.
No, eventually. I mean, they're going to find that for sure. They do have baseball sniffing dogs that they can bring in case they can't locate the ball.
How do you just quickly, because I know you know this, how do you train dogs to sniff baseballs?
Those are the toys that you give them to play with, like we give to Bob the Greyhound, and Layla, the Rhodesian Ridgeback, and Lucky, who is a mix.
Fly ball left center. Robert back. Thank goodness that stayed in the ballpark. Number one, it would have been 8-1. Number two, those guys would have been on the hunt for another ball. They can't find the first one.
Okay, so they've located the ball. They had a discussion. It was really great. And they say, yep, that's it. Commissioner Bud Selig is on it.
I don't know that the chronology works. That's amazing. They finally found it. People were tweeting in at us. It's in the cup holder.
Phil Maton coming into this one on for the third time, and he hasn't given up much.
The game is beautiful, and as you said yesterday, it is a ballet. But what the game brings in terms of all of the human elements outside of the game in the ballpark, and you miss the sense, and you miss the cheering, and you miss everything. But still, every day around a baseball diamond, you see something absolutely unique that you will remember forever. And sorry it's at the expense of the search party out there today, but boy, was that fun.
And look, there's another factor, and it shows you just how good our crew is, how good they are in the truck. Bringing you these games with no fans, one of the things that all of us miss is there are stories told in the stands of every game. And our guys have always stayed with it as well as anybody around. The stories are great. I mean, and we think back to the famous Mustard Man.
Yep.
I mean, that's just one of the stories, and this is another one of the continuing stories. You see, we have the baseball.
That's the auxiliary authentication department. They have multiple bureaus.
Time now for the Grandview Homes home run of the game. Grandview Homes buys them as is. And without that home run, we couldn't have done the promo. Thank you, Yoan.
You got to do it, and you got to do it late. And a season ticket holder needs to get that home run ball. So whoever's next on the list, by the way, you have a very elusive. You have like the golden snitch of home run balls today. It was good. We're going to have an offshoot of the Bermuda Triangle in the right field seats. Ships go in there and disappear.
It was pretty hard to find that.
In the air center field from Danny Mendick, and out number 2. Coming back from break, you saw to like very Vivaldi-esque music. Zach Birdie's major league debut. Even in a game that didn't go well for the Sox, you have one of those moments in Major League Baseball that he and his family will never forget. And we've had 7 of them already in 2020 MLB premieres.
Yeah, really, the result of the game will not matter in the grand scheme of things, but the performance of a young reliever coming into a major league game for the first time after quite a bit of adversity. Zach Birdie showed that the stuff plays. If he stays together, he's got a chance to be a very big factor out of the bullpen and probably at the back end of the bullpen.
Well, you know, when you step on that mound or step on the field, your life changes completely. I mean, you talk about like Eloy Jimenez, right? He shows up wearing those red batting gloves that are for his grandfather, and he waves and says, "Hi, Mom," into the camera. That's a life-changing thing for one entire family, and we've seen it over and over again already this year with guys like Matt Foster making his first major league start today. Cody Hoyer, who comes in and looks like he absolutely belongs in the major leagues with his stuff and his aggressiveness.
Matt Foster wasn't only major league start, the first game he's ever started, which is somewhat amazing.
In the air, right center field. DeShields won't get there. It drops down. So Adam Engel has had a nice day in the field, and he's got 2 hits this afternoon.
You know, for Adam, he never really knows just how much play he's going to get, but he does know every opportunity to get 4 at-bats is a very important opportunity. And he's got a couple of hits, made some good defensive plays, one great throw. He's making the most of his opportunity. He's hitting well over 300.
You talked about how strong Adam Engel is. He has a forceful upper body. And on Monday, I'm going to tease forward to Monday.
Okay.
On Monday, we're going to show you some Adam Engel football highlights to show you what a good football player he was in Loveland, Ohio.
And how about this one? I mean, that was literally waiting for Lindor to arrive, and Lindor's got good speed.
Danny Mendick looked like he showed up 10 minutes early for his doctor appointment. I mean, that he was waiting for the arrival. Two and 0. Moncada swings and misses. 2-1.
You know, love him or not, Pete Rose knows a game of baseball, and he said one thing about why he was able to accomplish what he did. He said, never a wasted at bat. If he had 4 hits, he went after his 5th. If they were up by 5, he tried to put them up by 6. And every at bat, regardless of how inconsequential it is for these guys, they've got to bear down as if the game is on the line, a 0-0 game or a 2-2 game late. That approach allows you to be a star. Yoan Moncada is pretty much of a star.
That was a wicked slider he saw, and now this to second base will end the ball game. So Cleveland ends up winning and splitting the first 2. Maton closes the deal. And Cleveland's 6-run 4th was too much today for the Sox.
Let's take a look at our upcoming schedule presented by Volkswagen. And it's the Tigers. And then the St. Louis Cardinals, we are hoping. And then it's the Tigers once again. So that's what it looks like. Sox will try to have a better result. They will take on Cleveland tomorrow night. And this one wasn't a good one. Last night was a great one. So let's call it the 3rd final and rubber game tomorrow, and you and I will be watching from afar, but delighted with the pitching matchup.
Yeah, Bieber versus Giolito, Sunday Night Baseball. We will be sharing it with you from the comfort of our homes, and we'll talk to you on Monday. So for our entire crew, Chris Withers, Andrew Blaustein, Chris Kamka, Mark Harper, Greg Bowman, Kevin Cross, Joe Grube, he's Steve Stone, I'm Jason Benetti. For our entire crew, farewell. Subaru Postgame Live coming next. Chuck, take it away.